The meeting will please come to order. Good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, January the 15th. My name is Trippy Congo, President of Wilmington City Council. On behalf of my colleagues, we would like to thank you for joining us this evening, those of you who are in chambers and also those of you who are virtual. We are going to begin with our prayer by Marilena Rivera.
Heavenly Father, we have assembled to handle the affairs of our city. As we do so, we ask for your guidance and understanding. We pray that our city reaches a place of peace and safety. Keep us out of harm's way and bless those who are in authority. Let respect be key in all our endeavors. Padre Celestial, nos hemos reunido para manejar los asuntos de nuestra ciudad. Al hacerlo le pedimos su orientación y comprensión. Oramos para que nuestra ciudad alcance un lugar de paz y seguridad, que nos mantenga fuera del peligro y bendecir a los que están en autoridad. Que el respeto sea clave en todos nuestros esfuerzos. Amén.
Amen. Now we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Owens,
Present.
Councilwoman Darby, Councilwoman Oliver,
Present.
Councilwoman Harley,
Present.
Councilwoman Willauer,
Present.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Here.
Councilman Johnson,
Here.
Councilman Field,
Present.
Councilwoman Bracey, Councilwoman Cabrera,
Present.
Councilman Hackett,
Here.
Councilman Spadola, President Congo.
Here.
10 present and 3 absent.
I thank you. Councilmember Darby did ask to be excused.
And Spadola.
And Spadola. Thank you. All of Councilwoman Darby's legislation is going to be held on tonight at her request. This time we'll have the reading of the minutes from our previous meeting.
January 8th, 2026, City Council met in regular session with remote participation on the above date at 6:34 p.m. President Ernest M. Congo II presiding.
Mr. President, I move that the minutes be accepted as written.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second the minutes be accepted as written. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Bracey. This time we'll have our committee report.
January 5th, 2026, President and members of council, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Finance and Economic Development Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation, to who was referred ordinance number 25-074, entitled An Ordinance to Amend Chapter 35 of the City Code to include gender identity as a protected class. Have given this ordinance careful review and recommend council vote on it at an upcoming council meeting. Respectfully submitted, those members of the Finance and Economic Development Committee. Those members present, Councilwoman Harley, Councilwoman Bracey, Councilwoman Oliver, Councilman Spadola, President Congo. Absent with leave, Councilwoman Darby and Councilman Hackett.
I move the committee report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second the report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Our city treasurer's report, please.
January 15th, 2026, total investments $579,710,635.14. Total cash on hand $16,447,309.55. Grand total $596,157,944.69. Submitted, City Treasurer Dwayne Sims.
I move the treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second the report be received, recorded, and filed. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried. I'll accept the motion to move to accept all non-legislative business.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and second to accept all non-legislative business. On the question, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Just as a friendly reminder, there is a Google Form sign-up link in the chat for anyone who'd like to give public comment. If anyone is in council chamber and you haven't signed up for public comment, you still have a few minutes to do so. Are there any recognition resolutions? Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call Mr. Evans up, Harmon Carey, Jim Baker, and the two in the back. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Evans, I want you here. Yeah, I have another one. Another recognition. I see y'all looking at me. Here she goes. Okay. Sponsored by Councilwoman Xanthia Oliver. And whereas it's the Census City Council to honor individuals on occasions and significant milestones that demonstrate outstanding achievement and deserving of recognition and acknowledgement. This sentimental anniversary of Lewis L. Redding entering Harvard Law School merits such distinction. Whereas Lewis Redding spent his childhood in Wilmington on the East Side neighborhood, graduating from the historical Howard High School in 1919. In 1925, he began his legal education at Harvard Law School, embarking on a path that will ultimately transfer the legal landscape of Delaware and advance the cause of justice and equality for generations. And whereas Mr. Red was the only African American in 1928's graduating class. 1 year later, he was to become the first African-American attorney who gained admission to the Delaware bar. And whereas throughout his 57 years career, Lewis L. Redding courageously challenged the racial segregation and discrimination. He is best known for his role as legal counsel in the landmark cases that led him to the discrimination of the University of Delaware and Delaware Public Schools, laying important groundwork for the national struggle for civil rights in 1965. He accepted a position with the Public Defender's Office in Wilmington, Delaware, where he dedicated his time until he retired in 1984. Whereas this is the 100th anniversary of the defining moment of Lewis L. Redding Professional Journal provides an opportunity to reflect upon historical achievements, preserving an unwavering commitment to the rule of law, equality, protection, and human dignity. Now thereby resolved by the City Council, the Council pleads to honor the legacy of Lewis L. Redding. And we have some individuals here who Mr. Evans worked with him, Harmon Carey, knew him personally, and Jim Baker. So I'm going to let Mr. Evans say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm George Evans. I had the distinct opportunity to work with Mr. Redding, having made that remarkable journey to be admitted to the Delaware Bar in 1973. As reflected, Mr. Redding was admitted to the bar in 1929, generating an actual revolution in terms of the practice of law. He served for some 25 years as the only black practitioner until we began to see some admission into the practice coming then in 1954 with Judge Clark. And then we saw Mr. Nix in 1956, and then Judge Williams in 1959. Prior to that time, coming into the bar, there was no admission of persons of color from 1959 until 1973. And at that time, I was admitted, and so was Jim Gilliam, who was admitted to practice. We had great success then in 1975, where there were 3 admissions. So when I became a member of the bar, there were only 3 practitioners in the state of Delaware who were persons of color, Mr. Nix, Judge Williams, and of course, Mr. Redding. And it was through his work, actually, in terms of the Parker case, that allowed the admission of Judge Williams into the University of Delaware. The Parker case was decided in 1950, and Judge Williams then was, along with other persons of color, able then to matriculate at the University of Delaware. We're aware of those significant cases here in Delaware. The segregation case that Mr. Redding brought in terms of the Claymont High School as well as the Hocassin High School. Both of these cases went up to the Supreme Court in 1954, where because of a change in the court, Chief Justice Earl Warren, then we saw that the court found that the decision in Plessy versus Ferguson was a set of circumstances that could no longer stand with the Brown v. Board of Education. What did I find in terms of this practitioner? Even in as late as 1973, very polished, very sharp, and who took all of his work to a great degree of seriousness. I had the opportunity to practice in opposition to Mr. Redding in a family court case, and he showed that great skill, polish, and diplomacy that convinced the judge that his party should be the prevailing one in that particular case. I also had the opportunity to preside over a case or two. I was appointed as a master in the family court, and Mr. Redding entered that court with his client in a particular case, and his continual art of persuasion was very effective. I had the pleasure, in terms of his retirement, to acquire his case books. I submit to you that there are those little bookmarkers that are made. All of his case books had a stamp on it that reflected his name and address. But in one of these particular cases, I was defending a robbery case by jury trial. And in this particular case, there was a book marked with a little slip of paper that was on point in my particular case. This was a 3-day case that went to trial, and at the conclusion, of course, the jury found that my client was not guilty of the crime of burglary, a young 17-year-old male, because he was wearing a white skull cap that one of the witnesses identified, or at least testified, that one of these persons who was engaged in this robbery had a white skull cap. That was a significant victory, no doubt, for the client. But all along in his journey, we stand on the shoulders of this practitioner who opened numerous doors and continued to do so even during the course of his retirement. We consulted with Mr. Reddy as we formed the barristers, the Delaware Barristers Association, which is made up in terms of lawyers who look at the unique issues involving black practitioners, and of course, this matter that we would consider and hold very closely, at least that there would be justice for all persons that come before the court, particularly dealing with the issues that we have found to be uniquely a problem for us, such as getting a jury that we would need in cases that would be unbiased and able to make decisions based upon what the evidence is and what the law. If I might just say one other point in terms of where we are today, one is involving education that he was so significantly involved in. One of the reasons that I held fast to serving on the Christina board for some 37 and a half years, his interest in terms of the opportunity to advance we would find, of course, in education. And the other one, of course, was that of getting a fair trial. And within the last year, I would think that Mr. Redding would form an opinion that we have so far fallen on what we would anticipate as being the progress of justice in this country. We're looking at circumstances where the federal government is reinstituting policies somewhat like the Japanese during the course of World War II in terms of concentration camps, and the other piece, of course, racial profiling and attacking people based upon their heritage, based upon who they are, and that we have sort of lost our way, and we need to address that and stay vigorous in terms of addressing those issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Harmon Carey, and I promised Xanthia I would take no more than 3 minutes. And I know that if I go longer, she'll snatch me off. So I want to mention two things to you. Our organization, the Afro-American Historical Society, initiated an effort for Louis Redding and Jay Sant and who's the judge? No, the judge that worked with him. The judge who worked with him.
Leonard Williams.
No, the court, the judge.
That I worked with, that was Leonard Williams?
No. It will come to me, friends. I felt that they deserved this country's highest honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. J. Collins Seitz, okay? He was not selected for that award posthumously. He was selected for the United States Citizens Award, which is the second highest honor. Now, I continue to feel he deserved the top honor, and with every breath in me, I'm going to work toward when we get Trump out of office to try to get him that Presidential Medal of Freedom, and I hope the council will support that. I want to tell you a little story, and it will only take the other 2 minutes. When this building was named after Mr. Redding, you might like this. Hicks Anderson was heading up a group and trying to put some pressure on council to name the building after Mr. Redding. I attended one of the meetings, and they decided that they were going to come in to the next meeting and make that recommendation. I asked a very simple question. Have you consulted with Mr. Redding? Does he know it? And they said no. I said, I really think you should contact him before you submit his name. They designated me to talk to Mr. Redding. I'll never forget the conversation. Harmon, what is it that they want to do? And I said, they want to name the city-county building after you. Well, Harmon, do you think there will be any controversy about it? Because, you know, I don't can't deal with controversy. And I said, no, Mr. Redding, I don't think there'll be any controversy about it. And I'm taking you at your word, Harmon, and I give you permission to tell the group that they can go ahead. Well, they went ahead, and now this is the North Hill Redding building.
Thank you. In the way of sympathy resolutions from Councilwoman Harley, a sympathy resolution for David Nocho. From Councilwoman Oliver, sympathy resolutions for Harvey and Turner Jr. and Mary E. Jones. And from Councilman Spadola, a sympathy resolution for Carl Leonarducci. At this time, we're going to go to public comment. Just as a friendly reminder, you do have 3 minutes to give your comment. Once you have 30 seconds remaining, I will give you a friendly reminder to please wrap up your comment. Please remember to introduce yourself. If you like, you can state what district you are representing, but you do not have to. We do have public comment from the people who are here in chambers and a couple of people who are on Zoom. So we are going to alternate. But starting in council chambers, we have Deacon Earl E. Tate. Thank you for joining us.
Greetings. My name is Deacon Earl E. Tate, who's never late because he don't want to lose his pair of roller skates. And I'm here speaking on behalf of the homeless people that you see in the parks and everything. Now it has been said that the homeless people in some states they have got trailers out and got a piece of land to put it in and they fix it up like a studio home for the homeless, so the homeless wouldn't be out on the streets, in the parks, under the bridge. They're there now. They're there now, and that's what I suggest for us to do. The Congress, the Senate, the representatives, the council people, get a piece of land, get a piece of land, and get some of these empty trailers, and put them down in the land, and fix them up. And had the homeless to move in there, so to keep our parks and all looking nice and neat. But also that's just one of the things that we can do. The other thing is still on getting speed bumps in certain areas to slow down this traffic, because this traffic is driving mad, driving crazy, and if we don't slow them down, there's going to be more people, not only in the hospital, but in the graves, that shouldn't be there. So it's up to us to stand up for the rights of the people of the city of Wilmington, and do what's right, because we got to look out for our future, and our future is now, and also it's time now for us to stand up, take a stand, and get the nitwit out of the White House.
You have 30 seconds.
Because if we don't, he's gonna ruin what we have here in America. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will go to our virtual speakers. First, we have Roberta Tatman. Roberta Tatman, please unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Roberta Tatman, and I represent the 5th District. The last meeting we had, I really didn't get to touch on the topic because of the time we're allowed, but I want to go into this real quick because I have been doing some research. But the law in Delaware prohibits, and I'm talking about the open use of drugs. The law in Delaware prohibits the use of drugs in public is covered under Title 11, Chapter 5, 13, 15 of the Delaware Code for Public Intoxication entitled The Public Consumption of Controlled Substances, including marijuana, and that's getting ready to change possibly, specifically the law regarding general public intoxication. For marijuana products, public use is currently a criminal offense under Delaware Chapter 4764, classified as an unclassified misdemeanor and can result in a fine, imprisonment, or both. Now, that may be changing. Public intoxication, a person is guilty of public intoxication if they appear in public places under the influence of alcohol, narcotics, or any other non-prescribed drugs to a degree that they may endanger themselves or others or annoy persons in the vicinity, which happens where I live at quite often. Public consumption of marijuana knowingly or intentionally using a personal use quantity or marijuana in an area accessible to the public in a moving vehicle or criminal is a criminal offense. Now I'm going to skip down some. However, as of late 2026, and you all know, the legislation, House Bill 252, has been introduced to reclassify the public use of personal use of marijuana. And I pray that doesn't happen. Now I'm going to go jump over a lot. I see this all the time, shooting up. I can't, needles in the stomach. I've had to call 911 several times. I remember years ago, we were getting ready for church. And my daughter's best friend was here. And she came in the front. She said, Mom, and this was when my neighbors who used to live downstairs were using marijuana. I got a contact. And I said, me too. And that's why I'm going downstairs. I actually had to have a drug test some years ago for a job. And they found marijuana in my system. And I don't smoke it. And I told them, it clicked me immediately. God reminded me what was going on.
You have 30 seconds.
Drug use, I just want people would tolerate this in their neighborhoods. They wouldn't. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be going on. And it's very hurtful. And I feel like we don't matter because they don't do anything about it. But it's a fact. It wouldn't go on in certain neighborhoods where some of you live at. It just would not happen. And it's very hurtful. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in council chambers, we have Rob Bullock. Thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Yes, hello. My name is Rob Bullock, and I'd like to wish everybody Happy New Year's, and hopefully a prosperous New Year's and good luck with your ordinance and so forth. But I was thinking about, Martin Luther King Day coming up on Monday, and actually his birthday is really today, isn't it? I believe. And so they have the Martin Luther King Day of Service. And I thought about it, I thought it was just Martin Luther King Day when it first started, Now it became a Martin Luther King Day of Service. So, some of y'all are having events, around the Martin Luther King Day. But I was thinking that this Martin Luther King Day soon will have to incorporate organization for our children and anybody, but specifically African Americans. Not only do you have to have a day of service, but you have to have a day of organization. Martin Luther King was organized. He helped organize SCLC, and the churches have to organize and come together because what was going on in Minnesota could very well happen here, and I think it is on Trump's radar. And excuse me for this,
He don't got
but you have to remain.
he don't have that's a good one.
We have to remain peaceful and protest. This is what the mayor in Minnesota is saying, that we have to teach our children in this Martin Luther King Day that we have to remain peaceful when we protest. I mean, because we don't want Trump to turn this into a martial law and start going door to door and locking us all up, just busting into people's houses and snatching you out of there. We're going to have to take it up another notch. As far as education, I believe our children hasn't made a connection with the past. Therefore, they won't know what the fuss is all about because I am a product of the Civil Rights Movement when they passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. And Trump is trying, and his administration is trying to roll it back, remove history from schools. And so
30 seconds.
we have to, I hope that y'all can come up with some ordinances that will protect us and protect teaching our children about our history, because it's been a big gap in between, the Civil Rights Movement and the benefits that they have. They think it's just, the benefits they have is just what it is. But no, people have died and suffered and bled so that I can have what I have today. So I remember the saying is, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, virtually, we have Tennessee Brown. Okay, thank you. Tennessee Brown, if you are still with us virtually, please raise your hand. All right, okay, thank you. We'll go to Danielle Covington. Danielle Covington, if you're still with us virtually, please raise your hand.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Please remember to
Hi,
introduce
good
yourself.
evening, Council President, members of the council, and all who are in chambers tonight. My name is Danielle Covington, Wilmington resident and 1st District, Civic President and former Wilmington City Council at large candidate in the 2024 primary for the Democratic Party. Tonight, I am seeking clarification on the city charter that requires, from my understanding, no more than 3 of the 4 at-large council seats to go to one political party. And now that the council member who held the minority seat recently changed party affiliation, all 4 members now belong to the same Democratic Party. And I would like to know how the city council interprets the situation, and what the plans are regarding any unwritten rules superseding the written guidelines of the charter, and how you plan to satisfy the integrity of those who ran a clean race. In addition, if this is treated as an additional or 4th Democratic seat, I would like clarification on whether candidates who received votes in that category, such as myself, who received the 4th highest number of votes for that Democratic seats, will be considered. That's all. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Next in council chambers, we have Dora Williams. And thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Dora Williams, and I live in Rose Hill Gardens, along Route 9. I've been there for about 50 years. But when I came to Wilmington, I first lived on 7th and Church, and I don't know how that escaped me all this time, but that's where I began here in Wilmington. So, but I wanted to say I just couldn't let the season go by without saying Happy New Year to the council and also to the people who are attending. And I thank Councilwoman Oliver for all the historical memories that she has brought forth. And I think that the memories that she has, the people that she has brought forth, has brought back the idea that no matter how bad injustice is that we have a duty to combat this injustice. And I just wanted to say that on that journey, the journey of today, right now, we have homelessness, we have rent stabilization, we have energy bills, we have the tax reassessment, water quality, the data center, the dismantling of healthcare, the dismantling of food, dismantling of the Department of Education, decrease in veteran services, sickness and disease from the food we eat and environment we live in, and chicken feces in the homes of our brothers and sisters. Also, gun violence, ICE. It's just, and if I've left anything out, you can add to the plethora of things that lie before us and that lie before the council. And I think that one of the things that I think the people would like is to add to the prayer that was prayed in the beginning of the council meeting for God to reside while the business of the city is being handled. And the business of the city that's being handled is everything that has been listed. And we hope, I guess, and we the people pray that council will take what history has brought to our attention today and other times, is that no matter what injustice is that we combat it. So thank you so much. And we do entrust this to God. Right? Amen.
Thank you. Excuse me. Next, we have Sophia Block. Thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Sophia Block, and I am the Community Engagement Manager at Innocence Project Delaware. Innocence Project Delaware was established in 2018, and we are the only nonprofit legal organization in Delaware focused exclusively on addressing and preventing wrongful convictions. Our mission is to secure justice for individuals wrongfully imprisoned for crimes they did not commit here in the first state. We provide pro bono legal and investigative services and represent wrongfully convicted Delawareans as they prove their innocence in court. Today, I'm speaking in support of the City Council's resolutions in favor of Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 57, as well as Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 58. Senate Bill 57 would provide much-needed updates to Delaware's post-conviction DNA testing statute. It's an injustice when any innocent person is wrongfully convicted for a crime they did not commit. At Innocence Project Delaware, we often rely on DNA testing as well as forensic evidence to help prove our clients' innocence. We have a number of clients and applicants, including some cases that date back to the 1980s before DNA testing was even available, who would benefit from testing but are currently denied because of how restrictive the current Delaware law is. Delaware is among a handful of states that's not up to standard when it comes to our post-conviction DNA testing statute. Senate Bill 57, pending in the General Assembly, would remove the time bar and the plea bar and change the standard of review so it's in line with the vast majority of states across the United States. These changes would allow us to access DNA testing on behalf of our clients and not only prove their innocence in court, but in some cases help identify the actual perpetrator of the crime, bringing justice and closure to victims as well as survivors. As the City Council recognizes with its resolution in support of Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 58, misapplied forensic science is a leading cause of wrongful convictions. Unfortunately, in Delaware, wrongfully convicted individuals have no avenue to return to court to prove their innocence. The bill pending in the General Assembly provides a legal mechanism for individuals to return to court if new forensic evidence emerges or if existing forensic evidence has been discredited, something that a growing number of states across the country are implementing. I'd like to thank the City Council for considering the resolution in support of Senate Bill 58, which would simply allow an individual to file a petition and be heard. We believe that those convicted based on flawed forensic analysis should have access to justice, and that when science evolves, our legal system must be willing to learn, correct injustices, and uphold integrity in our courts. I'd like to thank the sponsors of these resolutions and the City Council for their attention to these important issues, and I strongly urge the committee to support both resolutions in favor of Senate Bill 57 and Senate Bill 58. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Luther Bunting. Thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Luther Bunting, Jr. My roots, they stretch from the Delaware indigenous tribes that signed the original Treaty of Peace and Friendship. The reason why I wanted to come and talk is about homelessness in Wilmington. Last week, I've been coming to a few city council meetings. I just like to ingratiate myself and get a better understanding of what's going on. Anywhere that I've ever lived, I like to understand what's going on. Last week, I overheard, an understanding about fiscal impact. So a fiscal impact statement analyzes proposals' financial effect on government, business, or organization. It's kind of basic. For a fraternity, my fraternity, I was a board member. We had $120,000 to $150,000 in our budget. I was Miss Black and Gold pageant coordinator. So I had to understand the fiscal impact before I actually made a proposal to the fraternity. I had to make sure that I proposed that and had that all understood before I made that proposal. As the ACLU Michigan legislative director, I was her intern for the state of Michigan. So with that legislation, when it came through, I had to give her analysis of the fiscal impact of that legislation. That was kind of basic for being able to understand what I was doing as being an intern. As a board member of my law journal, I was the annual conference, person that had to pretty much run that every year. So I had to give a deep analysis of the fiscal impact of our budget. I say all this to say I find the understanding of, and research and basically writing of the fiscal impact to be essential for bare minimum, effective, and required leadership. Back to homelessness. Regarding homelessness, I came to City Council and told them about a homelessness encampment that was in front of my house. Before and after, my window got smashed open while my daughter, my 1-year-old daughter, was there, and she was crying and affected by that. This is all I've ever gotten from that. This is it. So, as far as the organizations that are here to help homelessness in Wilmington, I've gone to every single one of them. Before I came to City Council, I wanted to make sure I went to every single one of them, from the House of Joseph, to the Ministry of Caring, to the Housing Alliance, to the Housing Authority. I called every single one of them, and I went through every single step that they say you need to do, just to understand if it's really effective. Now, this is somebody who has the level of complication that I do. When I was graduating law school, I actually worked for the United States Sentencing Commission. So I actually saw the biggest drug sentencing guideline done in 2014. That's while Ketanji Brown Jackson was still there. I was there. I was actually the only law student that was actually able to see it from beginning to end. So I understand actually how to make things work. And I've actually worked and seen everything as far as what's going on, and I think it goes back to fiscal impact statement. As far as Ministry of Caring and Housing Alliance and Housing Authority and places like that, I find it ineffective. I find them extremely ineffective. I find the process to fixing homelessness ineffective. I find the people that are affected by homelessness, no one really cares. It's almost like things are happening over here, things are happening over there. If it's not affecting you, you really don't care until it affects you. Until that's you, until that's your son, until that's your family member, until it's you. It doesn't really matter. And sometimes I love it, to come from a family that has these roots. So I've seen that side of, the uppity. And I also seen what it looks like to come from and live next to a crack house because my mom and dad divorced. So I couldn't be Jack and Jill like some people might have been. My grandmother was a Jack and Jill vice president for East Coast. So I know what that looks like.
Please
but I
begin
know
to
what it
wrap
looks
up
like
your
to
comments,
also
sir.
grow up next to a crack house. And I think what we need to do for the people who are here to be able to really realize what's happening and be effective. Not just throw legislation out there, but know the fiscal impact and make sure it's actually affecting people and making the change that you say you want to make. Thank you.
Thank you. That does conclude public comment for this evening. I do want to thank everyone who participated. Please note that you're always welcome to give public comment, either virtually or in council chambers. Now we're going to move to legislative business. Council Member Oliver.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Ordinance number 24-074, agenda number 0154. An ordinance to amend Chapter 35 of the City Code to include gender identity as a protected class.
Mr. President, I move this be known for the enacting clause. Call for the yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second, that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance, and called for a yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes, Mr. President, this amendment aligns with the City Code with Delaware Gender Identity Non-Discrimination Act. We are updating our city code to align with the state code to include gender identity as a protected class. We have had conversations with people, civic associations, and at this time when the nation's dialogue is targeting people who are in Wilmington, we just want Wilmington to know we stand up for them. This is a simple ordinance to underscore the importance of protecting Wilmington residents.
Councilmember Owens.
First off, I want to say thank you to Councilwoman Oliver for bringing this up, and I'll keep my remarks quick. I would like to be added as a co-sponsor, and again, this is extremely needed here in the city of Wilmington.
Thank you.
Councilmember Willauer.
I just echo what Councilmember Owen said, and I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you very much, Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Councilmember Hackett.
Yeah, add me as a co-sponsor.
Councilmember Bracy.
Co-sponsor.
All right. Let me turn back to the sponsor for any final comment.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just one last comment. I don't think because of a person's gender that they should be like committing suicide or, being targeted. With that being said, I'd like to call for the vote.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Hackett?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance number 26-001, agenda number 0164, an ordinance to amend Chapter 45 of the City Code to establish a charge for inspections made pursuant to the City of Wilmington Cross-Connection Control Program.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 45 of the City Code to establish a charge for inspections made pursuant to the City of Wilmington Cross-Connection Control Program.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Yes, Mr. President. I move this be known for the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Yes, Mr. President, I have another ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance number 26-002, an ordinance to amend, agenda number, 0165. An ordinance to amend Chapter 45 of the City Code to empower the Commissioner of the Department of Licenses and Inspections to issue civil penalties or take other enforcement action against cable, telecommunication, and other utility providers for failing to remediate utility wires.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 45 of the City Code to empower the Commissioner of the Department of Licenses and Inspections to issue civil penalties or take other enforcement action against cable, telecommunication, and other utility providers for failing to remediate utility wires.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Yes, Mr. President, I move this be known for the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
Yes, Mr. President, I have an ordinance present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance number 26-003, agenda number 0166, an ordinance to authorize and approve the First Amendment to a professional services agreement between the City of Wilmington and Itron, Inc. for mobile automated meter reading operations and system maintenance to transition from automated meter reading to advanced metering infrastructure.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to authorize and approve the First Amendment to a professional services agreement between the City of Wilmington and Itron, Inc. for mobile automated meter reading operations and system maintenance to transition from automated meter reading to advanced metering infrastructure.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Yes, Mr. President, I move this be known for the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer this to Public Works and Transportation.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Public Works and Transportation Committee.
That'll be all.
Thank you. Councilmember Harley.
Oh, yes, Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 26-001, agenda number 0167. Whereas Section 2-369 of the City Code requires grants awarded by the mayor, city council, or the city treasurer in the amount of $5,000 or more within a fiscal year to be approved by resolution of city council. And whereas A Heart for the City, DE, has previously received more than $5,000 in community support / discretionary funds from City Council President Ernest Congo II and council members Kobe J. Owens, Michelle Harley, Nathan Field, Letitia Bracy, Maria D. Cabrera, Alexander D. Hackett, and James Spadola in fiscal year 2026, as well as additional support from council special
I
funds.
move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second the resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by a yea and nay vote. On the question.
Yes, Mr. President. As we know, there are quite a few nonprofits in our city that are doing a great job in terms of impact. And A Heart for the City is one of those nonprofits. So this resolution is basically approving a grant fund for A Heart for the City, Delaware, from our council community support funds for operational needs, including the expansion of the iRise Dining Hall to offer an additional hot meal weekly to those in need. And I just want to say that I want to commend A Heart for the City for the great work that they're doing down on 3rd and Walnut. The Ministry of Caring had been servicing those in that area, the unhoused, the hungry, and those that just wanted a hot meal for over 40 years. They moved on, and A Heart for the City decided to take on that responsibility by garnering support, donors, contributors, and so they needed some extra help as it related to getting the kitchen up to par per the public health department to make sure that they could continue to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hackett.
Yeah, I just want to thank Councilwoman Harley for bringing me along on this, and any way I possibly can support my colleague to help any nonprofit in the city of Wilmington to continue to do the good work for our people. So once again, thank you so much, Councilwoman Harley.
Councilmember Johnson.
A question for Councilmember Harley, obviously being the finance chair. Is this something long term that we're looking at? Maybe some kind of partnership with the county and the state in terms of providing, the city's own version of DHSS essentially, because, not only this grant, but we're getting into a lot of issues we're having with the unhoused, and the city simply doesn't have enough money, which I think is an issue we're going to run into anytime the nonprofits come to us. So I think that's a conversation we can hopefully have soon, is that, if they're not going to do it, then we can get the funding and make our own department. But it's something that, again, maybe we could talk out as we're talking in budget time, because we're providing services. I believe the county and the state should be paying more this year. That's all.
Thank you.
Should I
turn back to the sponsor? Any closing comments?
Oh, yes. So first of all, I want to thank Mr. President. May I respond to Councilmember Johnson's question?
Sure. You can also give any closing comments.
Oh, I was just going to respond and then take the vote.
All right.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank Councilmember Johnson for the question. First of all, this is basically a one and done. The owners came to a council committee meeting and pretty much shared what the need was that they are facing. And this basically is to upgrade the kitchen to be in compliance. So this is a one and done. And individual council members, as you heard in the legislation, they made a decision that they wanted to help out. That's number one. And like I said, it's a one and done to make sure that the kitchen is compliant and that they are already working with DHSS regarding wraparound services, and they are working with other nonprofits to get donations for the food. So at this point in time, we can have a conversation offline, but this pretty much is a one and done right now. And that's all I have, Mr. President, and we can take the vote.
All right, thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Owens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver?
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Willauer?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Field?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera?
Yes.
Councilman Hackett?
Yes.
President Congo?
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson.
Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for first and second reading.
Ordinance number 26-004, agenda number 0168, an ordinance to enact a temporary moratorium on smoke shops within the city of Wilmington.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to enact a temporary moratorium on smoke shops within the city of Wilmington.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be noticed the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Public Safety Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Public Safety Committee. This time we will move to petitions and communications. Councilman Owens.
Yes, thank you, Council President. Today is the birthday of MLK Jr., and as we celebrate him on Monday, I just want to take a moment for us all to reflect upon the work that he's done for our community. But then also, as history is trying to be erased right now, I think it's important for us as a council to come together and make sure that we are continuing to lift up our community and remember what he fought for. He didn't just fight for voting rights, but he also fought for living wages and affordability. So again, as we come together, I think we really need to recommit to his legacy, to his fight, to building our community, and coming together and fighting for affordability here in the city of Wilmington. That's it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank the YMCA and the Teen Warehouse and Ken Livingston for reaching out and asking me to partner with them for MLK Day, clean up the east side. So we have 10 kids from the Y and I think 10 or 15 from the warehouse. And I'm just excited that they were able to talk to the youth. Oh, and Reverend Bernadette's church, her and her husband. I'm just glad they were able to reach out, so it's supposed to be 30 kids, I'm sorry, and say that the youth were interested in doing a MLK cleanup. And I'm glad they chose the 3rd district, so I'm looking forward to working with the kids. We're going to meet up at the corner of the YMCA. But also, I'm just congratulate anybody who's participating in MLK Day, because I think it is a day to give back to the community. And I want to say, Sunday, January the 18th, the International Ministry Action Council will be having an event at New Destiny Fellowship Church at 6 p.m. And I know it's a lot of other things going on, so whoever is participating, congratulations. Thank you. That'll be all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Harley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to thank the mayor and the administration for identifying the Friendship House as the nonprofit to help to manage and monitor the temporary Christina Park encampment. In addition to the porta potties, and I know that some more resources are coming, I just wanted to make sure that it's on record that I stand with the taxpayers that want their park back after this temporary period is over. I am aware that there is a need for housing for the unhoused and other services, and they deserve it. And I'm going to do my best to work and support our council and any other branch of government to do what is needed for the unhoused. But I do stand with the community that want their park back, the taxpayers that have family events in that park. There are annual events that take place in that park. There are 2 communities, the East Side community and the Southbridge community. They really love being in that park, and those that fish and do other fun activities in that park, and they no longer have access to the park to do those things. So again, I want to thank the Friendship House and the mayor for this temporary solution, but we want to make sure that there is a long-term goal, and to be on record that I do stand with the community that want their park back, and that I will do what I can to work with whomever to make sure that we help those that are unhoused. And in my closing, I want to share that for those that want to donate any food or any clothes of that nature, that Kim, who is the Chief Executive Officer, I had a nice long talk with her yesterday, and she's asking that they be delivered directly to 1603 Jessup Street, Wilmington, Delaware, Unit 3, from 8:30 until 2:30, and some Saturdays. And they do have a website, which is www.friendshiphousede.org. So again, we just want to make sure that it's on record and that we will be doing our best to help move this along. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Willauer.
Yes, I also want to echo what some of the other council members have said, just in terms of recognizing the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, of organizing for justice for all. And I want to thank the people who came and spoke today at public comment to remind us of the work that's been done, and just urge people to reflect on that. Service and organizing, I think, go hand in hand. And we don't have to look any further than the work that needs to be done to address the issue of homelessness. And I want to thank Councilwoman Harley for giving that update, and just personally commit to both the service of helping people immediately with their needs, but also we need working together with council and all levels of government on the long-term solutions to homelessness, which I think is housing, and including permanent supportive housing and for people who are transitioning out of homelessness. So that's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman McCoy.
Thank you. I would like to say thank you to the leadership of the Hedgeville community, which is Yvonne L. Murray, and all of the surrounding people that are block captains. There was a zoning board meeting that was held on the 12th, and we are basically trying to limit the amount of retailers that are opening at the moment. We are having issues with retailers opening, stating that they're going to do one thing and then changing to do another. So this is unfortunate for them, but fortunate for us that did not happen this week, that we are supporting the retailers who are working well with the community and making certain that they're following the rules that the city has actually put in front of them, and that, who want to make certain that they are good neighbors to the residents within the Hedgeville community. So I thank them all for responding to the zoning board notice, and also to myself, as I made certain that they were aware, and that they made certain that emails went out if they were unable to attend the meeting. I would like to state that I did receive a letter from the zoning board about the meeting, and I did not see any information from that first letter about online, because I know that was something that was actually, talked about previously. So I just want to make certain that people who are aware of any type of variance changes or anything that's going on with the zoning board, that they make certain that they send an email out to the person who that letter is being, who's actually holding that meeting, or come to the meeting directly. Your voices need to be heard. That's one. The other thing I wanted to make certain is that I reiterate MLK Day of Service. Yes, it has been a day of service. I don't recall when it never was, or it wasn't a day of service, but ever since I've been, going out to volunteer on MLK Day, where we are either, we're handing out food, we're cleaning up. I've actually had volunteers paint. I think we painted one time at the PAL. That was so long ago. So I said, we've always made certain that we put our hands to something, and we were there to volunteer. So I do ask everyone to come on out on Monday. We are going to be at 1009 Sycamore Street at the MSK Community Center. The cleanup will start at 10:30 a.m. We do this pretty much every year. This is the third year it's going to be in my district. Cleanup starts at 10:30 a.m. till 12 p.m. Then there'll be a peace march right after it. Excuse me. And then we will have the community celebration. This is the 14th year of the MLK Day of Service. The funny part about it is it's great to see the two Westside Groves and MSK coming together for their MLK Day, because both were doing them individually, and now for the past 3 years they've been doing them together. So I look forward to seeing everyone out there. As Councilman Johnson stated, this is actually a big event, and we always have like lots of people come out.
All right, thank you. I'd like to go back to Councilwoman Harley for a few more comments.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that I thank my former DuPont colleagues for coming together at the Pencader site to collect coats for the Christina Park encampment and dropping those coats off today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Johnson.
I want to first remind everyone in the community that there's a Southwest Civic Association meeting on Wednesday, 21st at 6 p.m. at Cab Callaway. So please all come out. We've been growing our attendance and really getting the information out there to the community. So please come out for updates on what we're doing out west. Also, like to turn the whole city's attention to the Wilmington Police Department's year-end report is published. And actually, it is the best one I know I've seen. Apparently, you have to see the numbers yourself, but it's amazing work. So hats off to both the Chief Campos and his leadership, and also their men and women in blue. Crime is at its lowest it's been since 2003. Again, crime is at its lowest it's been. So we have 21% reduction in violent crime, 31% reduction in property crime. Looking through the stats, the programming we're doing is working, because we're not only focused, as we've done, on in supporting our police department, but also working on CPSI with Dr. Devin Mason and Partners in Care, really hitting everything from all ends. So it's nice to see on council the effort and work we've put in. Again, thanks to President Congo, Councilwoman McCoy, Councilwoman Oliver, that trip we took to Newark, New Jersey many years ago, and putting everything together. It's nice to see it come to fruition, and we got to continue the good work and keeping our city safe. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Councilman Field.
Nothing to add tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bracy.
Yes, on Monday, Councilman Owens and myself, along with members of the Education Committee, Councilwoman Oliver, Harley, McCoy, announced that the applications were open for City Council's Wilmington Youth Advisory Council. So we are looking for students from 8th to 12th grade to participate in our Youth Advisory Council. This is a leadership opportunity where you will be meeting once a month here in City Council chambers, meeting with the departments of the city departments, city council members, learning about what we do, but more importantly, guiding what will become our youth master plan. So we're looking for students, again, 8th through 12th grade, to be part of our leadership council, our youth advisory council. The applications are up on our website. They're on all of our social medias. And if you have any other questions, you can call City Council's office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and Mr. President.
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver said she needed some of my time.
Sure, Councilwoman Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I forgot to make a quick statement. I would like to apologize to the police unions throughout the state and the chiefs, especially Chief Campos, who always does a good job in the 3rd District, constantly returns my calls, for just this whole unfortunate situation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cabrera.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to wish everyone a good Martin Luther King Day of service. Get out there. I remember the many marches, all the events that we've done. And today, for Delaware, it is the last day of annual enrollment. It's your last opportunity to get a health care plan. So you can still go on the marketplace and do that, healthcare.gov. And certainly you can reach out to people who can help you, but the deadline is today. So that's what I've been busy doing. So I hope that everyone gets insurance and have a happy January. Stay warm.
Thank you. Councilman Hackett.
Yeah, I wasn't going to have anything until I heard Councilman Owens talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I want to say happy birthday. But I also want to give a shout to my colleagues to know that, like, you know, we're approaching budget season. And just like Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream, we need to have a dream when we're looking at this budget to make sure that it reflects the people that we serve every day. So, you know, I just want us to look at that as much as we possibly can, because we talked about how our people are struggling today. And I think we have the tools to make sure that we help them. So that's all I got for tonight.
All right, thank you. Again, I would like to thank everyone who joined us this evening, everyone who gave public comment. Please know that you're always welcome to join us here in council chambers. You can always join the meeting virtually. We have council meetings, official council meetings every first and third Thursday. We also have committee meetings throughout the month. And if any of us here at City Council can help you in any way, please reach out to us at 302-576-2140. Again, our number is 302-576-2140. With that, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion, meeting adjourned, everyone. Thank you.